Good morning. It's AriBo of AriBo Arts, and we're here for Battmaking with AriBo Arts. Missed last week because I was on my way to Texas. Came back very late Monday night. It's a 15-hour drive for me. And yesterday was a cover day, and today I'm going to still take it slow. But we are going to make some bats. So before I left for Texas, I made a bat on Sebastian here, and I didn't clean up. So that's the first thing I'm doing. Hairbrush cleaner, and I made a teal bat, as you might be able to tell from the colors on the screen. So we just look her in first, and then we're going to start on the big drum. So today's bat is going to be purples. I found this ball of purple here. It's not with its tag. Usually I'm pretty good, but I think it was one of the rush ones I did before I left. I'm pretty sure it's from the same maker as the teal, which is Random Rovings from Michigan. But I haven't found the tag. The tag may be around somewhere. I'll look for it later, but I may just label it wool, because legally that's all I'm required to say. According to the U.S. Wool Act, you have to label the fibers, but they don't care if anything is more specific than wool. I, of course, like to do more specific than wool. Tell you what breed it is, because that tells you a lot about the spinning, but in this case, this is not merino. It might have some Coopworth in it. It's a little fuzzy. But we'll see if I find the tag. So, we're going to do the purple. We have, I think this is purple silk. It came in an order where a bunch of stuff was stuffed in one bag, and so I didn't know which thing was which. So it could be bamboo, but there was other bamboo that... the same color. This is definitely bamboo. This, however, could be the silk. Sometimes it's hard. The dyeing process can impact the texture of some of the fibers. And then I'm going to add in this. This is this really cool mix. It's mulberry silk, sari silk, and merino. So there will be some merino in here. Okay, so I'm going to tear this off. I'm also going to say I'm having issues with my phone. I will have to replace it probably in the next month or two. The battery is not holding its charge. I think I can get a half an hour out of it. So we will see. I am working with mock-ups for setup where I can like plug it in. Unfortunately, currently you're in the vertical position. I can only plug it in if I have the phone horizontally, and I can actually do a plug-in. So I've been experimenting with that for things like my live sale, which is on Saturday. I am the first one on Saturday. I believe it is noon. Noon Eastern, 11 o'clock my time. Put a little more on here. Okay, so got that on. Let's put on some of this. Yeah, I had to keep plugging it in at the show this weekend. Fortunately, my booth had electricity, so I was able to keep it plugged in for the most part. And I actually did go and buy myself one of those external batteries. I had a sort of a small one that I could maybe get one charge out of. I got a new one that gives me multiple charges, so. Oh yeah, look at that nice contrast. So if you're watching and you have comments, please leave them in down below. I probably won't see them till after the fact. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also leave comments. I will get a notification and answer any questions you have. So we're just doing, feed tray for the main color, and then we're painting on the other items. But yeah, no, it was good. It was my show was the DFW Fiber Fest. First time doing it. It was actually the second time I've ever been in Texas. Fortunately, it was North Texas. I think if I had driven any further, there would have been issues. It took a really long time to get there. Though the drive wasn't too bad, though I must say, Oklahoma, you need more rest stops. There's like one in each direction. Kansas Turnpike was lovely, which reminds me I should go online and pay for that. Got to go pay for the tolls in Texas. I live in Iowa. We don't have any toll roads at all, so I don't have any of those transponders. And it turns out the transponder for Kansas and Texas, those share the same transponder, is not the same transponder as the one that does like Illinois or Indiana or Ohio. I think New York and Massachusetts are on those ones. So I think the one for Kansas is also like the one for Florida and Colorado. It's just like there's these like competing systems. I like it with those streaks of color. That is going to spin up really nice. So yeah, so there were a few waffle vendors. I posted a photo. Q for the photo. Kat was there, though I never got to see Q. She was always in class. She was teaching. So Maker Jay was there. So I got to chat with him. Carolyn from Greenwood Fiberworks was there. I've never met her in person before. We're like, we know each other, but we've never met. So it was wonderful to meet her. I got to meet her daughter, too. It was her first time doing that show. Liz Taylor from Spotted Circus was there. Rachel from Crafted by Locals, who used to be local in that area. Is now, I think she's moved to Montana, maybe? She came down for the show. I think that might have been it. Yeah, there wasn't a huge number. But I got to meet some other people, like Twisted Ambition. Can't remember his name now. Jennifer from Burr Oak Studios. She's one of those people who recycles old knitting and crochet needles into jewelry and keychains and chimes and all sorts of things. I bought earrings. It was a very yarn-heavy show. A lot of yarn dyers. I sold 2 bats, so it tells you it was not a spinning crowd. I did get a lot of interest. I brought my new loom, the mint green Pomsky, whose name I think I pretty much decided the name is Pippin, Lord of the Rings character, Pippin the Presto. So on Friday, I finished up what I had on that loom. It was nice and portable, easy to pack and take with me. And then I was planning on warping it up Friday night when I got back to the hotel. I was so tired. That did not happen. Because, I mean, it's not the hardest thing to warp, but it takes some time. Right? Well, first was I was like figuring out like what I could clamp it to in the building, in the hotel suite to actually, have something to warp, put the direct warp on. And then I was going to have to tie ends and figure out the math of the spacings. I want to do like a checkerboard in blues. So that didn't get done. So Saturday in August I bought and then at one show and delivered at another show an EEW 6.1 Dreaming Robots, who doesn't have a name yet. thought of a name yet. And so I played with a little bit, but I hadn't spun on it yet. I bought it with the tripod. Actually, I'm still working on this. And I can't get the tripod stable, so I gotta work on that. But I found a box or stair-like container that it fit in very nicely. If I turned it on its side, with room for a couple extra spindles and the power cord. Probably should put the battery in there too. But I knew I was going to have electricity. So I got that out on Saturday morning and did my first spin on it. And for the most part, it took me a little bit to get the tension right. I'm used to spinning on a bobbin lead wheel, and this is a flyer lead, so I'm not used to twiddling with the tension. That's where the tension thing is, down there, right? So I wasn't used to that. And then just maybe a little more on getting the speed right, and there's on my wheel under the orifice I have this half circle of Velcro, so that the active fiber that I'm spinning with, I can just stick there and it won't untwist. And with the EW, it's like the only thing really to wrap it around decently is like the speed knob. So when you do that, it starts fiddling with your speed. I mean, it's off, but it means you're starting at the wrong speed, right? So it took me a little bit of time to get a hang of that. I may end up putting some Velcro on it. And it's so much, I mean, great. Brigitte, my Louette S17, she's not a big wheel. I mean, she sits in the passenger seat or she sits in the back in the van. But because I had to bring my wagon to get everything into the convention center, the wagon went in the space that Brigitte would normally go in. And I'm like, with 15 hours of driving, I need that passenger seat free for snacks and food and the phone and all that kind of stuff. So I brought the E-wheel instead, and it's protected in this Sterilite thing, and I don't let the van get too hot because there's the 3D printed elements, which will melt if they're left in a hot car. So I had a lot of conversations with people on Friday about weaving. Nobody called it looming. It was great. And what was nice is at this event they had in the back part, this thing called the Fibratorium or something like that. Essentially, it was a place for you to play and learn about fiber and fiber tools. And they had a Kromsky back there that was like Pippin but unpainted, a naked Pippin. And so I was like, oh yeah, go back there and you can play with it, because I wasn't gonna let them play on mine. But they were watching me, change the shed and all that. And then, of course, on Saturday and Sunday when I was spinning, there was at least one other person there with an eel wheel. But people would be like, stop and look, and you could see like them stop across the aisle and go, and particularly like the men would be like, "Ooh, it's a tool. It's got electricity." But yeah, so I had some good conversations with people about that. It's a good show. I did so well in Michigan that I was like, I think I had higher expectations. But no, it was good. It was just it was a very long drive, and I had to take a hotel for 5 nights because I couldn't really camp there. In fact, this morning I was working on arranging my camping for next week for a show in Indiana. You, by the way, can spin this stuff just by itself. Now the test here at the Doffer crease, where it's the space between the carding cloth, I'm sort of feeling that. It's pretty even. Still got room for some more, so put more on. And unfortunately, I cannot see my power indicator. How much battery life I have left. yeah, so it was a good weekend. You know, I hadn't realized when I reserved my hotel like at the last minute. It was like the last day that the festival rate was being accepted. And usually when you get like hotel rates for events, they're discounted. Usually, sometimes they're just. I stayed at a place once where they were discounted $5. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a big savings. And so I found one. I'll just sort of admit it online. They listed it as, $119. I'm like, that's for an urban area. That is not a bad price, and it was a Holiday Inn. It wasn't like a Super 8 motel. I'm like, that's a good price for Holiday Inn. And it was relatively, it was actually, 4-minute drive, if that, to the venue. Like, yeah, I'll get that. Not realizing also that breakfast was included. And then I get there, I remember I picked a king room, because there was like, I think it was like 2 queens were a choice, or a king. And I was doing this in a rush, so I just, it's going to be 119 plus the, all the taxes and all that. And so I get there at 1 a.m. and I open the room to, the door, and I walk in, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, there's a sofa, there's like a TV and some tables, and then there's this long hallway, and then there's a bathroom, and then there's a bedroom. I'm like, I'm in a suite. I don't remember signing up for a suite. I remember it was a king room. So it turns out I did sign up for a suite for that price, and it turns out that they had a very significant discount. And I was like, cool, I like this. And it was nice because to save money, I actually packed all my own food. And there was a microwave there, and there was a fridge, and I brought my car fridge in anyways. And so I could just eat in the room. Okay, I think we're done. More because I'm not sure. This is getting really full right here. It's going to be slightly on the smaller side, but I don't know if you noticed, I picked at least one piece of green off of here. So it is getting full. It's just not really full. Okay, so we'll press it down one more time. And then we'll break it off. And I know I've made a bat similar to this in the past, but I have no idea what I called it. So if you have a name suggestion, put it down in the comments. So, this might be on the smaller side. Might be like 2 ounces. But you can guess. Guess how much you think this is. How much do you think it weighs? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this has Coopworth in it. Probably Coopworth blend of some kind. Just the fuzziness is telling me. Because I don't think it's Lester Long Roll. It doesn't feel like that. It's softer than that. So I'm working on making more bats for Saturday for the sale. I also want to get the yarn that I spun this weekend plied up in the wash bin, so I can offer that up as well. And I've got 1 or 2 skeins that didn't get washed before I left for Texas, so wash those up as well. So I'll have hand spun and art bats, including this art bat, which I'm going to now remove a piece of VM from. It will let go. There we go. Fine. Okay. Handy dandy knitting needle. Yeah, it's also very fluffy. I mean, obviously you can see look how fluffy that is. I've had a couple bats recently where I've taken photos of them from the sides before I've teased them out and made them thinner. And extremely thick. Most of it is air. Because these things have got a lot of crimp. Okay. Oh, and did I bring I did not bring, the scale went with me because I was weighing out items for the bat bar, and I brought the scale in from the van, but I did not bring it back in here. Oh, it's in a bag somewhere outside. Okay, so here is the bat. Pre-fluffing. Look how thick that is. Okay. So put your guesses for the weight in the comments, and I will, right after this, go find the scale. I'll lay it down someplace safe here. There we go. Weigh it, photograph it, and I will post it up so you can see who was closest. And then I'll come back and give whoever got closest on the weight their trophy emojis. Okay? So, thank you very much for tuning in today. I'll be downloading this and putting it up on YouTube unedited as well. So you can also catch it there. You can catch it as a video here in the group, WAFA, on Facebook for the next month. And then I think Facebook will probably delete it. So, otherwise, don't forget there's a sale Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know if it's noon to 7 each day. I'd have to check the schedule. I haven't really looked yet. I was focused on Texas. So now I can focus on Waffle. Okay. So thank you very much for tuning in. I'm going to go read the comments and find the scale. Okay? So I wish you all a lovely, lovely day. See you around on Facebook and YouTube.